Call on for a moment of silence. Please rise. Thank you. Please be seated. As I said prior to public session, we met in camera, and council gave direction to our solicitors on the Greenbank issue. We will be meeting after to finish our business in committee of the whole in camera. Any announcements? But before I move on to announcements from council, I just want to express, on behalf of all of council, our appreciation to the roads crew. It has been a horrendous spring. It's been very, very hard on our roads. The constant freeze-thaw cycles and the flooding that took place has taken a terrible toll on all of our roads. And our staff has been out there doing a lot of overtime hours and working long hours to bring our roads up to a somewhat acceptable stage. So please, Director Coleman, pass along to our road staff our appreciation, and our appreciation also to our members of the public who have been so patient throughout this whole process. So thank you. Any other announcements from staff, from council? Councillor Watton?
Thank you, Madam Mayor, and I see our good friends from Rotary are here, so I'll only speak to the Rotary Gala being held on May 4th at the Royal Ashburn. We still have tickets available if anyone's interested. We are seeking silent auction items, sponsorship, and tickets are $125 per person if anyone is interested in getting any. Thank you.
Thank you. Any others from staff, from council? Sorry. Councillor Kiesebrink.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Blackstock United Church is having their annual talent auction on April 12th, and it's going to be held at the church beginning at 7:30 at night till 9:30. There's going to be viewing of articles from 7 to 7:30, and they'll have something for everyone: preserves, baking, handmade items, even stained glass, and desserts and theater tickets. So lots of fun stuff.
Anything else? A couple of other things. There's a little bit of new technology today, so the council is all aware, and members of the public. Can you explain what that's all about?
Thank you.
Because I'm not a techie.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Just trialing myself taking over control of our presentation laptop, just in an effort to help our presenters, and also to bring up on screen resolutions of council as they are occurring, the agenda for the folks in the audience to see a little bit more easily as well, and if there's any amendments, hopefully we'll attempt to do them on the fly so that everyone can see them on screen. So that's being trialed today, and so just bear with me. Thank you.
So we'll be patient. We'll be patient with you. And also just wanted to announce a wonderful Tartan Day parade yesterday. It was a beautiful day for the parade, and there was a good turnout, and it was an exciting day for everyone. And there is a great art show down at the Kent Farndale Gallery, in celebration of the Port Perry Artists Association and their 20th anniversary. Excellent show. I was there on Saturday afternoon, so I encourage you all to take advantage of seeing that show. And now, if there's no others from council, the staff.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Just a reminder that residents and council, of course, are invited to the draft strategic plan open house, which is on Wednesday night, April the 10th, 6 p.m. at the library in the Rotary Room. Hope to see many people there.
Thank you. Director Heritage, I believe you have a new member of staff you'd like to introduce.
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor and members of council. I'd like to take this opportunity to introduce Nicola Alston, who is the new planning technician with the township. Nicola is a graduate from the University of Waterloo with an honors Bachelor of Environmental Studies degree in urban planning and a graduate from Ryerson University with a certificate in applied digital geography and GIS. Nicola is coming to Scugog from Cosburn Giberson Landscape Architects, where she's been a landscape designer, planner, and GIS specialist for the past 5 years. Nicola has over 10 years of experience in municipal government and 7 years of experience in the private sector as a town planner, GIS professional, and landscape designer. So I'm inviting council as well as staff to welcome Nicola to the Township of Scugog.
Welcome, Nicola. You've joined a great group of people, and we're all really impressed with your qualifications. So welcome and good luck. Anything else from staff, Councillor or Director Coleman?
Thank you, Mayor Drew. I just wanted to mention that the Seagrave Bridge was rehabilitated off-site, and last Wednesday it was brought back and put in place under the new abutments by a crane. We won't be able to fill the approaches until the half-load season is done, so that'll happen in May, and the bridge should be reopened in June of this year. And I also like to mention that there's going to be an open house next Tuesday, April 16th, for the proposed dog park that is in the budget this year, an off-leash dog park, and it'll be on April 16th at 6:30 p.m. at the library.
Thank you. Councillor Watton?
Sorry, Madam Mayor, I omitted to declare a pecuniary interest.
I'm going to ask for pecuniary interest right now.
Okay, just looking at the list.
Yes.
Thank you.
Anything else from staff? Councillor McDougall?
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor. I wanted to remind everyone, coming up on April 21st is the Easter Bonnet Contest and Easter Egg Hunt on Queen Street. We still have some time for that, but I think it's April 21st. Thank you.
Green Bank thing? Again? Okay. Thank you. If there's no further, Councillor
I'm
Chapman.
so sorry. There's one other one I meant to mention. The Scugog Cultural Connection is having their multi-art symposium with the Mississaugas of Scugog, and that is April 11th at 6:45 p.m. and the tickets are $35. You can actually speak to Marianne Myers if you want to register. The deadline was actually last Friday, but I don't know, you could still probably talk to her. I think it's going to be a great event.
Okay, thank you very much. Moving now to disclosure of pecuniary interest and the nature thereof. Councillor Watton.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Just that I note that you're apt to pull the staff report after the Rotary Club speak with regards to RibFest, and I am a member of the Rotary Club, so I won't be voting on that. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other declarations? Seeing none, yours is noted. Thank you very much. Delegations and presentations. Now we welcome our Rotary Club. Arch Evans and Darren Jones, please come forward. Oh, here he is. I wondered where our little Porky Pig was. You expect me to take you seriously, huh? And I press the red button, you've got 5 minutes.
Well, my name is Ribfest Piggy, a.k.a. Arch Evans, and with me is Darren Jones, and we're directors of Port Perry Rotary and represent the chairman and co-chairman of the Ribfest committee. So we just wanted to talk to you today about the Port Perry Ribfest, which is coming on July the 26th, 27th, and 28th. And we have a presentation outline, give you some information on the Rotary Club of Port Perry, event highlights, etc. And we have with us today some of our committee as well as members of Rotary. Darren?
Rotary International has 1.2 million members, 35,000 clubs in over 200 countries. Volunteer service since 1905, serve above self. Our Rotary Club, the Rotary Club of Port Perry, we have been proudly serving the community since 1981, and we have an average of 31 members pretty much every year. We're registered as a charity for nonprofit, and we do a bunch of international projects, example being polio, youth exchange, and an orphanage in India. The local projects that we have worked on are the gazebo in the park where we held our Rib Fest, as well as the waterfront boardwalk. We do a Rotary Christmas dinner every year that we used to call our seniors dinner, but then realized that there was a lot more people than seniors there, so we decided to change the name to the Rotary Christmas dinner. We do a lot of work for Camp Scugog, as well as the Rotary Trails. Several high school bursaries, Community Care North Durham, Operation Scugog, and BBS. Financial support for the Memorial Library expansions, the Caesarea Skate Park, and Lake Ridge Port Perry Hospital, UOIT, and the Durham College. Support for Oak Ridge Hospice of Durham, we did a commitment, and we fulfilled it, of $150,000.
This year, the date is July the 26th, 27th, and 28th. Rain or shine, the hours are Friday and Saturday from noon until 11, Sunday noon until 7 o'clock. We will hold it at Palmer Park, where it has been for the past 3 years, and we'll have use of the North Ball Diamond during that event. We are expecting over 25,000 people, which would be a high for a Rib Fest, and it's a popular event. It's a family event, and we think it does well to boost tourism and economic in Port Perry. This year, the net proceeds from our Rotary Rib Fest will be used for Rotary projects, and we haven't picked any specific item or particular thing this year. So it's just other than we're going to use it for a number of our events. The free admission, we do ask for donations, and very surprising, last year we had $16,000 donated as towards the people that were coming in, from the people rather that were coming in. This year, rather than 5 rivers, we're going to have 4, and we'll have live music, of course, draft beer and coolers. And we have a kids zone and a picnic area, playground included in the Rib Fest licensed area this year, so the playground part of the event will be licensed. So people will be able to bring their children in the licensed area and enjoy draft beer while their kids are playing. And we will have events for the children as well, and I'm just not sure at this point what we are going to do, but there will be an event for the children. And the farmers market, as you know, will move on the Saturday, and they've decided this year they want to come back on the Sunday as well, so they will be there for the 2 days. And of course, we have off-site parking if needed, and we're looking forward to a good event. So, this year at the 19 Rib Fest, the Falcons are back again, obviously to stop seagulls from flying around and making a mess basically and try and get all the food off the table. The Falcons are a big hit at Rib Fest. All the kids love them, and it really works. As simple as that. We don't see a seagull until the event's over, so that's a bonus. We are really feel strongly about recycling and composting at our event, to the point that this year we're even trying to get our plastic glasses compostable. We're working on that right now. There is a guy that is making plastic glasses out of avocado plants. That way they're completely compostable.
So we're going to include that in our Rib Fest this year. As always, we're going to have clean tables and toilets as much as we possibly can with all the people coming in and out. We get a lot of comments about that, how clean our Rib Fest is compared to all the other ones that they visit. Our volunteers are everything to us. Last year we had 115 volunteers come and help us out for the Rib Fest and did over 300 shifts. So, I mean, that's a lot of work. We need them. Without them, we can't put the event on. And again, we try and be environmentally friendly. We try to make it look like we haven't been there when we leave.
Communication with respect to the Rib Fest, we have monthly staff meetings with township staff, and we haven't yet, but we will meet with the BIA and Water Street businesses to let them know what is happening on July the 26th, 27th, and 28th. We have live music every day, as I mentioned before, on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and the music will be for all generations. This is a significant undertaking by the Rotary Club, and this is our fourth attempt, or our fourth Rib Fest, rather. And, of course, one of our major risks is the weather, and we're certainly hoping that maybe this year, this will be our fourth, but maybe one out of the four will get a rain-free 3 days. So that's our wish. Darren talked about our volunteers, and then the advertising and signage, that's covered in the staff report, which was included in council. Okay.
Up on the screen right now is an example of the layout of the park. It's slightly different from last year, mainly because we're planning to include the splash pad in our event. Mainly because we found that there were families in the splash pad that wanted to come into our event, and there was families in our event that wanted to go to the splash pad. And last year they had to go back out and around, and so we figured if we included it this year, seeing as we're trying to make it a family event, and it has been mainly a family event, we feel it'll be an important part of Rib Fest.
We have to wrap up.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you to the township council for their support, financial and other concessions, and the excellent assistance received from the Scugog staff. Without their support, it would be difficult for us to put on the event. And the information, for further information, you can visit our website. We have an email address, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. And without the event, wouldn't happen if we didn't have the sponsors and the vendors, musicians, and volunteers. Save the date, July the 26th, 27th, and 28th. And thank you again for receiving us.
Thank you very much for your delegation. Yes, put me down as a volunteer again this year, for sure.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Questions or comments from council? Seeing none, that was an excellent presentation, and we really truly appreciate all of the work that the Rotary do for this community. You know, the hospice, the library, the hospital, you name it. You're always there to support major projects and smaller projects within the community, and your Christmas dinner for probably mainly seniors is very much appreciated, as well as all the work you do around the world. I'll wrap up in a minute then, so go ahead, Councilor Guido.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I just wanted to confirm, because I just quickly reread the motion that will be passed later on when the council report is brought forward, but are you looking for exemption on fees again this year?
Yes, we are, yes.
Okay, all right, and it would be the same exemptions, or the same fees exempted for this year as you have had in the past?
Correct, yes,
okay.
Yeah.
All right, okay, thank you.
Anything else? So, carrying on, your environmental practices are very much appreciated and are the envy of many other Rib Fests and communities around. I know that I've heard that many times too, and that's very much appreciated, as well as how you keep the park so clean. So, and I know that our staff has worked very hard with you, and I know that they enjoy working with you as well. So it's just a win-win for everybody. So thank you very, very much for all that you do. And we look forward to this year's Rib Fest, and we'll all pray for good weather for you, too.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for
If you want to stick around, we're going to be dealing with your report, I think, right away.
Okay.
So I have a motion to receive the delegation. Councillor Kiesebrink, Councillor Ross, all those in favor? And that's carried, thank you. I'll do that for you. Kiesebrink and Ross. Okay, so the consent agenda is there. Items number 9 all of 9. Is there any that you would like pulled? I beg your pardon? We could bring 9.2.1 forward now. Any questions? We'll bring 9.2.1 forward, and then we'll have another delegation, and then we'll deal with the rest. Sorry, Councillor Guido.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Do we need a motion to bring the report forward, or I can just start with my questions?
I think we can do that.
Okay,
with the,
perfect. The motion does not speak to the exemptions that are being requested. It does?
Number 6?
The fee exemption.
From the sign.
It says that the council approve exemptions from the sign bylaw, but it doesn't speak to the exemption to the actual financial fees.
Director Coleman?
That's correct. The staff recommendations do not include an exemption to the fees.
We have to add that to the recommendations. Okay.
Yes. So I would like to add, when we get to that, or I can do it now, is
Yes.
to add that.
Please do it now.
Okay, so I would like to add number 8 is that all fees requested in the report are exempted, or however else you would like to type it. And just so you know, JP, it's not showing if you're doing it live.
It's coming. Is it coming?
That all fees be requested in the report be waived.
Okay, so you are making making the motion with all the recommendations and adding number
8, it would be.
as the amendment to the recommendations, okay? Is everybody clear on that? Director Coleman?
I just would like one clarification. There's fees and there's also deposits. In the past, council has waived the fees, but the staff have still collected the deposits and then returned them at the end.
You did say fees.
Yes,
Yeah,
I
so the
did.
deposits would still be in effect.
Thank you.
All right? Everybody clear on that? Any questions or comments on the recommendation?
I still have other questions on the
Go ahead.
report, though. Thank you. So in the past, we've heard from our local businesses that have competing interests in the food trucks that are there to be not placed near the food truck. Let's say ice cream is not placed near an ice cream shop. In the past, we had kind of seen an outline of where the vendors were going to be located. Would this be considered as well this year, that the vendors won't be competing with our local businesses, are placed right beside each other?
Through you, Madam Mayor, to the councillor, yes, they will. We will follow what's worked the last year. I think it worked very well, and we'll do a similar process this year.
Thank you. And then my last question is in regards to consuming alcohol in the actual playground area. Am I to understand correctly from their delegation that the ask is that the playground equipment area is licensed? And they're nodding their heads, so their answer is yes. So then I'm not up to date on all the bylaws about actually consuming alcohol in a playground area, but do we need to make any other provisions to allow that to occur based on any existing bylaws we have which would prohibit consuming alcohol in a park?
Through you, Madam Mayor, the councillor, I don't think that we need to make any others. You're saying that the playground area won't be licensed?
No, what they're saying is they want to expand the barriers to have the licensing occur on the playground equipment and the splash pad. And one of the questions that I had written down when the delegation was occurring is, why are they doing this? And they explained it's because they had received feedback, obviously, from participants that they didn't want to go in and out. I just have concerns that we're now licensing, theoretically, a child's playground.
Through you, Madam Mayor, I don't believe that we have to change anything else, but I can have staff look into it just to confirm.
I would appreciate that, because when we're talking about the bylaws, it refers to the advertising of alcohol in a playground, but their staff report doesn't address the consuming of alcohol in a playground.
Through you, Madam Mayor, I'll follow up on that.
Thank you.
I think that's a legitimate concern, and I think it deserves some following up. Thank you for bringing that forward. Councillor McDougall?
So is it, through to Director Carol, Carol, will the playground be open to the public during the Rib Fest then?
Yeah, through you, Madam Mayor, to the councillor, there's no charge to get into the Rib Fest, so the playground and splash pad are still open to anybody that wants to use them.
And further through you, Madam Mayor, is an adult required to enter the playground during this event then?
Adults are always welcome to go into a playground.
No, I mean, is an adult required to accompany the child to the playground during this event then?
Oh.
Because it's now licensed.
Well, we are looking into the playground area and the splash pad area, whether that should be allowed to have alcohol in those areas. So, staff is looking into that.
Okay. So just further to my question is I just would like to confirm, should the playground be open to the public, if it is a licensed area, and I'm assuming that an adult will be required to accompany the children to the playground. Is that is that correct?
Through you, Madam Mayor, to the councillor, I'll look into that as well.
Okay, thank you.
Anything further? Councillor Ross?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Through you, perhaps the delegation can answer this. If it's deemed through staff that perhaps it's not ideal to have the playground and splash pad in a licensed area, is it possible to modify the plan so that I know last year you said that it was difficult for people to go from splash pad to Rib Fest and backwards. Was there not an entrance on that end, or is that a possibility that we could look at in case it won't work, that we can still satisfy the requirement of the Rotary Club that we have, easy access there back and forth through that area?
Director, that's got to be for staff. Director Coleman? Yeah. But I'm seeing some nods back there.
Through you, Madam Mayor, to Council, I heard the delegation answering the question. And based on their answer, yes, the fence could be moved and we could put an entrance there if the other option doesn't work.
Sorry, thanks, Director Coleman.
Anything further? Okay, to the motion. All those in favor? Oh, sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. Need a seconder for that. Councillor Kiesebrink? Any questions? All those in favor? And that's carried. Thank you. Okay, I'd like to invite Jessica Morrison, Area Director, and Cheryl Helm, member of Young Life North Durham, come forward. Welcome. Make sure that the red buttons are on, and you have 5 minutes.
All right, thank you. First off, I have a bad cold, so please bear with me. But I still wanted to come because I'm here to talk about something that is very important to me. So some of you may remember me from last time I was here. We were receiving money from the Scugog Golf Initiative. But for those of you who may not remember that, my name is Jessica Morrison, and I'm the Area Director for Young Life North Durham. So Young Life is a faith-based nonprofit that focuses on building healthy adult relationships with high school kids. So Young Life is open to everybody, every single high school kid, no matter what they believe, what they look like, or how they act. So during the week, Young Life leaders invest time and energy into the lives of Port Perry teens, going to sports games, hosting games nights, going to Starbucks, just basically doing life together. And then every Thursday night, all of the kids and leaders get together for an epic night of laughs, fun, games, music, and life chats. So the way I like to explain Young Life is basically there's about 5% of kids who are just doing really, really well, whether they're plugged into a church or they're on the student council at school, and they're doing really well. And there's a lot of really great organizations for those kids. And then there's about 5% of kids who would be considered at-risk kids. And there's a lot of really great organizations for those kids too. But there's this 90% in the middle that nobody's really working with, just your everyday teen. And those are the kids that Young Life is for. Of course, we have kids from either of those 5% on either end, but it's based around those 90% in the middle. And so I just like to say we have something in common. If you're sitting in those chairs right now, we have something in common. We both care about our community a lot. We care about the people in it and the future of Port Perry. And so since you care about the community, you've also probably noticed some other things going on, whether it's graffiti on signs or kids hanging out really late in the Tim's Wendy's, just things like that. Or walking down the streets in groups really late at night. And it's easy to look at those kids and judge them and think that those are the kids that aren't really going anywhere. But those kids are in the 80% or the 90% in the middle. They're not the at-risk kids that we might think that they are. And so that's why that's really important to me, because I get to be in those kids' lives and learning who they really are. And when people see past, we get to learn their hearts. And so I've had the privilege of learning things that are going on in their lives that are maybe causing them to do some of these things. I had a kid a couple weeks ago that I was driving home, and he opened up to me and a couple of the other kids in the car, and he said, when I came to Young Life, right from the very beginning, for the very first time, somebody treated me like an equal, for the very first time in my entire life. And I just think that that's so sad, but at the same time, I'm so happy that we have the privilege to speak worth and hope back into these kids' lives. And we have lots of kids like that. Unfortunately, we hear that quite often. So last year, we had over 200 kids in North Durham attend one of our weekly programs. We have 3 clubs in the area. I supervise one in Port Perry and a high school club and a junior high club in Uxbridge as well. And so there's way more I could say about Young Life. Obviously, it's something very close to my heart. But today, I have with me Cheryl Helm. She's part of our local committee in the area, and she's going to talk about one of our fundraisers coming up.
Great. Good morning. Thank you very much, Madam Mayor and Council, for hearing us out today. I had the privilege of learning about Young Life quite late in my life and became a committee member. And basically, I have seen and heard through these kids the incredible impact they've had on a lot of our youth. They touch anywhere between, as Jessica said, 200 kids on a regular basis between both Scugog and Uxbridge. We only have one full-time person, that's Jessica. That's a full-time staff person. We have a quarter-time admin person. Our budget is really low. It's only $110,000. We also raise money to support the kids that can't afford to go to camp. Camp is one of the things that solidifies Young Life relationships. So I feel very honored of being behind the scenes, yet knowing that these kids have a great impact. So we are in the process. We have a fundraiser at least once a year. That's been my kind of thing that I do. It's called North Durham Gala, Young Life Returns, kind of on the Mary Poppins theme. Last year we did The Greatest Showman. But anyhow, we're going to have, it's April 27th, which is a Saturday. Last year, if you'll remember, it was April 14th, the ice storm. But we went ahead anyhow, because the Christian church allowed us to use their space, and it was already decorated as a circus. So we went through it. We still had a pretty good fundraiser, even though there was the ice storm. So we're doing it again this year. We rotate between both Uxbridge and Scugog, so we go back and forth. We'll be at the Uxbridge Senior Center, and we're putting up a little competition because Uxbridge gave us the facility for free. They're advertising us on their sign, and also they've bought a whole table. which is only $80. So we are asking if the township here would be willing to buy a table and/or if you'd be willing to donate some money, or even if you have something we could use in our raffle, we would appreciate any of those items. And we've got your tickets right here.
Question? Thank you. I hope, are you finished?
Yes.
That's good, yeah, your time is up, so that's great.
Yeah.
Are there any questions, Councilor Guido?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Thank you for your presentation. The question is to Director Valentin. I'm new to the Grants Committee, but would this qualify as something that they could apply to for the Grants Committee?
Through you, Madam Mayor, we'd have to look at the eligibility, so typically it has to be something focused within SCUGOG, but we'd have to look at that eligibility.
And they may have passed the date anyways. Okay, thank you.
Anything further? I have a question. How do you attract people to, young people to your organization?
Okay, I'm going to leave that to Jess because I'm just the adult side.
Yeah, so through a number of different things. So since Young Life leaders are in the world of kids every day, we're constantly meeting new people, and they get invited to our meetings by their friends, or we do have advertised like on Instagram and Facebook and stuff. And so I do get a lot of calls from parents saying, hey, I'm looking for something for my kid to join in with, and then asking for more information. So it's mostly by word of mouth, to answer your question, yeah.
And you've got a large group of young people. Where do you meet?
We actually meet in people's houses, and so we have several supporters in the area who believe in what we do and want to offer up their basement, and so we set up our speaker and stuff in there, and then, that's where we meet.
You don't have 200 every time.
No, that's total with the 3 clubs, and that's like how many kids did come out. So we normally have in between 20 to 30 each week.
So just to give you an idea, Adrian and Martin Stewart, now live in Uxbridge, and they're giving their home there. They used to give their home here that was right by the high school. Who's the other family that was right by the high school? They'd know. I'm trying to think, but David and Danielle Stell, so this community, if you want to know the past members of the community, they've given their homes out. They usually like to have it as close to the school as possible, so then the kids can just get there without having to find rides.
Mm-hmm.
So again, the leaders come from the high school themselves. So they're not outside kids, so like Jessica has Uxbridge leaders leading in Uxbridge, and then SCUGOG leaders leading here. Like Daniel Kiss is one, he's from the island. Yeah, so that's where the leaders come from, it's from the high school.
Well, thank you very much for your presentation. Are there any more questions? Councilor Kiesebrink?
Thank you so much, ladies, for your presentation. I just remember many, many years ago when our kids were really little and we lived up near Owen Sound, they had Young Life camps up there, and I remember it just being the context being like a kind of a social context with camp programs every summer and lots of games and activities, and just an opportunity for people in an interfaith type of way to learn in a wholesome environment and to build quality relationships. So my experience in that setting all those years ago, Way Up North, was very positive. So I know that as many opportunities as we can have for youth to connect with each other and have quality relationships and do life together is a good thing. So thank you for your efforts, your volunteer efforts to support young people. It's an important thing in the health of any community.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Councilor. Thank you, Councilor Kiesebrink. Again, thank you, and I certainly wish you all the best in your upcoming gala.
Thank you very much.
And if any councilors have any little treasures at home that they would like to donate, how would they do that?
Contact me. I'm letting Jess work with the kids, so I'm the one doing it. So if you have anything or have a business that would want to donate something, just let me know. I've been hitting the main street, and you know how they get hit a lot. So yeah, so just contact me. I'll give you my email.
We can get your email address, or we can do it through staff.
Yes,
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yes, I do have pamphlets and my business cards as well, if you guys would like to.
Just give it to our recording secretary.
Okay.
So I'm looking for a motion to receive the delegation. Councilor Guido, Councilor McDougall. Any other questions or comments? All those in favor? And that's carried. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And good luck. Who is that? Guido? McDougall. Thank you. Okay, now moving on to the rest of the consent agenda. Is there anything polled? Anybody want anything polled? Seeing none, motion to receive approve the consent agenda, the recommendations. Councilor
Can we,
something polled?
yes, can we pull 9.2.3?
Okay. So then there's just 9.2.2 left. May I have a motion? Did you want something pulled? Okay, 9.2.2 it is. Pardon? No, don't. Yep. Okay, so 9.2.2, Councilor Keys-Brink, do you want to make the motion and then, okay. Seconder? Councilor Guido? Okay, your questions?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Just a question. So, given that David Anderson, the CET president of the Four Roads Management, he did our, is that the right report?
No, 9.2.2 is the dehumidifier.
Oh, we'll move to that one.
No questions on that? Okay, okay, so that is for the Recreation Center Desiccant Humidifier Contract Award for the benefit of the public. That is for to allow the arena in just north of Port Perry, Scugog Community Center, to keep the ice pads open for an extra month at either end, or just in the spring.
To you, Madam Mayor, is to do both. We put the ice in August. It's to provide better environmental
Okay,
control.
either end, yeah. Any questions or comments on that?
I'd like to support staff's recommendation, because Simco is, given that they are the largest industrial refrigeration organization, they do have service as a key component, and because they did do our previous service contract, and considering with them doing the installation and having already installed one previously that is working well from Craig's report, I think that would be a good strategy to go ahead and move forward and have them to do this other one.
Helps our young people stay on the ice a little bit longer, do their tryouts, and, okay. Any other questions or comments? All those in favor? And that's carried, thank you. 9.2.3, Councilor McDougall, did you want to make the motion?
Motion to receive 9.2.3?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Receive only? Page 18. The recommendation is that the report be received and that the contract award to Four Roads Management for the roads condition assessment works in the amount of $19,210, including HST, be approved, and that the contract award to Four Roads Management for the state of the infrastructure study in the amount of $34,724.90, including HST, be approved. You making a motion?
Making a motion to put that on the table to discuss.
Okay,
Sorry.
Go ahead.
A quick question through you, Madam Mayor, to Kevin, I believe, or Carol. I believe AECOM did the report previously. Did we consider AECOM as a possible vendor for this project?
Director Coleman?
Through you, Madam Mayor, to the councillor, we did not, for a couple of reasons. One is timing. The capital budget just was approved in March, and we need to get the road inspections done in April. So because we wanted to work really quickly, we went to the same consultant who did our last two studies, and he also is the person that did it before that time when he was with AECOM. So for expediency and efficiency, we went to just one firm.
Through you, Madam Mayor, so in essence, it's consistently being applied anyway. Is that correct?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear that.
Sorry, I said through you, Madam Mayor, it's the same person, so it's consistent regardless whether it's AECOM or not.
Through you, Madam Mayor, yes, that's correct.
Okay, thank you.
We're just a little bit of change in the way we do things, because it should be done in the spring, and now is the time. We don't want to delay things, so it is in the budget, and it is under budget, and it is within the scope of the procurement policy and bylaw, so we feel that we could just go ahead with this one and formally pass it later, but but if we get this passed today, that work can get started in a timely manner. So we want to get this roads needs study done. Okay, any other questions or comments, Councillor Keesebrink?
Yeah, so David Anderson did our asset management plan back in 2013 for roads, bridges, and culverts. And knowing that Grants Ontario has launched their March 18th Investing in Canada Infrastructure for Rural and Northern Stream, so we have an opportunity, our submissions have to be in by May 14th. Part of what they require, now it's unique because eligible assets are road, bridge, and new construction up to $5 million, so I know that our CAO and our staff are working on strategizing to put something forward to hopefully maximize our best opportunities to qualify to get some of that funding. But part of what they require is that the municipalities have to have that asset management plan. And I think ours has to be updated every 3 to 5 years, and ours is overdue. Now, last time when David did his work for us, he actually did a full asset management plan. I know that the roads condition assessment and the infrastructure study is all part and parcel of the asset management plan, like it all feeds into that. And right now, the way everything's timed out in this report is we start the roads condition assessment April 15th, then the infrastructure study in May, the asset management policy by July, and then we can look at the asset management plan in July. However, that's too late for us to get some of that money from this infrastructure because the deadline is May. So I'm wondering, is there any way, can we use our current asset management plan even though it's old? So maybe my question is for our CAO. Can we use the old one with our submission, or do we need to amp up the timing of this ask?
Director?
Through you, Madam Mayor, to the councillor. So we did, the last road assessment was correct down in 2013. Actually, though, there was an assessment done in 2014 as well. And we also updated our entire asset management plan with other areas besides roads, and was that 2017 or 2016? So we do have a more recent asset management plan than the 2013 one. So I don't think it's going to be any issue for the grant application.
Okay.
Through you, Madam Mayor. Thank you, Director Coleman. That was my only concern, was whether the timing and the ask, how that would work, but that answers my question. Thank you.
Are there any other questions or comments? The only thing I would like to say is, the roads needs study, we've talked about it a lot, and it does relate to how we prioritize our roads. Now, and I'm a proponent of the road that needs it the most is the road that gets done. However, as we move forward over the next few years, there are other things that can make a road down the road creep up to the top. And Director Coleman, maybe you could outline some of those things that would make some road jump to the top, or some project jump to the top. Did you do that?
Yes, Mayor Drew. So if I refer back to the report that we did on how to prioritize roads for capital projects, the roads need study, which we're now calling a state of the infrastructure study, is definitely one of the a tool that we use for that. Unfortunately, when we do that, we get a lot of high priority roads that all need to be done right away, and we don't have the budget to do them all. So that's not the only factor we look at. We also look at the road classification, the volume of traffic on the road, what our maintenance costs are for some roads. If we're spending a high amount in maintenance and we can save money by doing that road sooner, we will. We also look if it's part of a multi-phase project. If we have grants from external sources, that would definitely bring it up to the number one on the list. If we can do cost-sharing opportunities with developers or the region, and just some of our other philosophies of, trying to prevent, you might do a road that's not in a really poor condition now, but do some preventive maintenance on it so that it doesn't become in really poor condition. So prolonging the life of some of our better roads, too, is another consideration when we're putting the plan together.
And of course, if there's a major fail in the spring, which sometimes happens on a road that you thought maybe was okay, that would also bump it up as well.
Madam Mayor, yes, that's one reason why we go back and reassess them. And we do our own site inspections, too, in the interim. If someone complains about a road, we will go out definitely and look at it and see, is it worse than it was when it was last assessed.
So the roads needs study is a point in time, and then we use that as a guide every year.
That's correct.
Councillor Keasley?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. So essentially, we're really excited about this. We're glad that with this proposal, I shouldn't say we, I am, I'll speak for myself, but having that roads condition assessment beginning right away, April 15th, like you said, there's a timeliness to it, and it's essential to inform this infrastructure study, and for myself, I'm really grateful, and I know that our constituents will be as well. Thank you.
Councillor McDougall?
Yes, thank you, through you, Madam Mayor. Can you explain to me how the state of the infrastructure study will dovetail into the transportation master plan?
Through you, Madam Mayor, to the councillor, they're separate studies. They're looking at different things, but they will both inform the capital budget is how they come together. The state of the infrastructure looks at the existing condition of roads and comes up, or helps you come up with a work plan on what order to do things and when to do preventive maintenance and when to do road reconstruction. And it also helps with financial planning with your asset management plan to know, how big that is and what we need to look for the future funding to deal with it. The transportation master plan is more looking at, this is our road network now. These are where there's congestion, where there's areas that the intersection might need to be improved, where development is happening, if things need to happen to improve those roads. And both of those will feed together to help us determine the capital budget for future years.
Very good, that's all, thank you.
Anything further? So, Councillor McDougall, did you still wish to make that motion of the recommendations? Yes. And a seconder, please. Councillor Guido. All those in favor? And that's carried. Thank you. Thank you very much. There's no correspondence, notices of motion. The updated proclamations issued by the Mayor's Office, 12.1 and 12.2. I need a motion to receive for information. Councillor Guido. Councillor Watton, a question?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Just more of a clarification on 12.2, if I may. On our report, it says that Community Living Durham North has not requested a flag raising, but I'm pretty sure we have it in our calendar for May the 2nd, unless I have it incorrect with... So we may just want to update it to reflect...
Maybe at the point of this printing, it hadn't been requested. Yeah. That's all I can determine. What was the date that you had?
May the 2nd.
I think I have that too. Yes, I do. I have that too, so yeah.
So it maybe can be updated before.
Made a formal request. Yeah, okay.
Thank you.
Any questions or comments on the recommendation to receive for information? Did we get a mover and a seconder for that? Yes, we did. Okay, all those in favor? And that's carried. Thank you very much. Now, need a motion to go back into closed session. Councillor Guido, Councillor Keasley-Brink, all those in favor? And that's carried. Thank you. So we'll just take a 5-minute break, and then we'll go into closed session. Oh, I just need to announce that we're going back into closed session to discuss personal matters about identifiable individuals, including municipal or local board employees, pursuant to Section 239, Bracket 2B of the Municipal Act, with respect to the advisory committee appointments. Thank you. Now we take a 5-minute break.